Great. Moving on to muscle tissue. This is a short topic. We've already covered epithelial tissue. We've already covered connective tissue. Now let's look at muscle tissue. Muscle, we could break down into skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle, and smooth muscle. Now, of the three, only one of them you have conscious voluntary control over. That's skeletal muscle. And by its name, this is muscle that attaches to your skeleton that you can consciously, voluntarily contract. When we say contract, most people assume that it means to shorten a muscle, when in fact the term contraction means to generate tension. So you can generate tension to a muscle when it's shortening, lengthening, or remaining the same length. So you can create tension to muscles when it's shortening, lengthening, or remaining the same length. Cardiac muscle is involuntary. You can't consciously speed up your heart rate or slow it down on command. And smooth muscle is also involuntary. So here's skeletal muscle, what it looks like under a microscope. Both skeletal muscle and cardiac muscle are both striated. You can see these striations here. And skeletal are multinucleated. They do have striations. What gives it the striations is the way the light penetrates through the thick and thin protein filaments of muscle, and we call those actin and myosin. Actin and myosin. Those are two of the contractile proteins that make up skeletal muscle. Actin are the thinner ones, and myosin are the thicker filaments. And the way the light penetrates it, it gives it the appearance of these striations. Again, it's voluntary. You have conscious control over them, and it's any muscle that attaches to your skeleton. Cardiac muscle is involuntary, but it too has striations, and you could see them here. Now, one of the unique features that cardiac muscle has that skeletal muscle does not have are these intercalated discs. Those intercalated discs are these red vertical lines that we have here, and all these red vertical lines are the connection or connections between one heart cell and another. Remember, cells come together and they form junctions. The type of junctions that are involved with cardiac muscle is called a gap junction. Gap junctions are involved wherever we have fast, rapid forms of cellular communication. And remember, if we look on the bottom left here for the heart, the atrium, we have the SA node. This you'll learn in AMP2. The pacemaker of the heart is the SA node, but it's going to send electrical conduction to both atria, the left and the right atrium, simultaneously. But every single heart cell must get that electrical impulse at the exact same time, so it has to spread very rapidly from this heart cell to this heart cell, or from this heart cell to this heart cell. And it does so because of these gap junctions. They are found where these intercalated discs are. Okay. So the other unique feature to cardiac is that it is branched, right? If we look here, it looks like branches of a tree. We have many branches coming off, right? So here it looks like it's a trunk, and then we have different branches coming off of it. So if it's highly branched, we call it cardiac, especially if we see those intercalated discs and they look striated. Okay. Now, smooth muscle, on the other hand, we sometimes call this visceral muscle because we find it around the organs and viscera. This is more spindle-shaped. They're spindle-shaped cells with a central nuclei, but this does not have striation. There are no striations. The appearance looks very different from here to here. Skeletal is striated, cardiac is striated. Smooth is not striated. We find it throughout your entire digestive tract, your gastrointestinal system. Okay, all of that is going to be smooth muscle. We find it around a woman's uterus. Again, it's involuntary. That's the key. Involuntary control. Just like cardiac muscle, involuntary control. You can't control, you can't say decrease your heart rate from 72 beats a minute to 50 beats a minute. Now, go. You can't do that. You can't increase it from 70 beats to 90 beats right now unless you start, jogging or sprinting or running, right? You can't do it on thought command. Now, over time, I would agree that if you're meditating and relaxing, within 5 or 10 minutes, an individual can certainly slow down their heart rate. Okay, but it's not immediate. That's the point. Okay, and let's take a break. When I come back, we'll talk about the neuron, the fourth type of tissue.